everyone, this is Tariq Shami, and you're listening to the Lovin Amman Show. This episode was created with the help of AI, and today we're going through a very Jordanian mix of stories. Viral AI visuals, football history, royal music moments, online controversy, old heritage, and one phrase that somehow explains half of life in Jordan. Let's start with the story that feels very 2026. AI artists imagining what Jordan's 80th Independence Day celebrations could look like. Jordan marks Independence Day every year on May 25th, and this year is a big one because it marks the 80th anniversary of the country's independence. And naturally, before the actual celebrations even begin, people online have already started imagining what the visuals could look like. One image in particular has been getting a lot of attention. It shows a giant, glowing 80 placed above Abdun Bridge, turning one of Amman's most recognizable landmarks into a futuristic national celebration scene. And honestly, it makes sense that this is the image people connected with. Abdun Bridge already has that dramatic cinematic feeling. It cuts through the city in a way that feels instantly familiar to anyone who lives in Amman. So when you add a giant glowing 80 above it, with the city lights, flags, and celebration energy, it instantly becomes the kind of visual people want to share. The image was created by AI artist at Omar Al Abdallat, and it taps into something we've been seeing more and more. AI art being used not just for fantasy, but to imagine what public celebrations, national moments, and city landmarks could look like if they were pushed into a more dramatic visual direction. And for Jordan's 80th Independence Day, that kind of imagination feels fitting. People are not just thinking about the holiday as a day off or a formal occasion. They're imagining how the city itself could look, how Amman could be lit up, how major landmarks could become part of the celebration, and how national pride could show up visually in a way that feels modern. Now, of course, this is not an official plan. It's an artistic concept. But that's also why people are enjoying it. It lets everyone imagine the what if. What if Abdun Bridge really had a massive glowing 80 above it? What if the city had installations across its most iconic spaces? What if the anniversary became a full citywide visual moment? It's the kind of post that gets people talking because it feels both unrealistic and completely possible at the same time. From AI visions of Jordan's future celebrations, we move to a very real celebration in Jordanian football. Hussein SC has officially made history after clinching the 2025/2026 Jordanian Pro League title. The Irbid club defeated Al-Siilawy SC 1-0 at Al Hassan Stadium, and that win sealed their third consecutive league title. The details matter, but the bigger picture matters even more. Yes, Al Hussein won the match. Yes, Rezik Banihani scored early. Yes, the club finished on 62 points ahead of Al-Siilawy on 56. But the real story is what this means for Jordanian football. For decades, the Jordanian football conversation was dominated by Al-Siilawy and Al-Wehdat. Those two clubs shaped the rivalry, the league, the fan culture, and so much of the country's football identity. So when Al Hussein comes in and wins not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row, that becomes more than a good season. It becomes a shift. And you could feel that in the crowd reaction. This was not just fans celebrating another trophy. This was Irbid celebrating a football era. It was the kind of win that makes supporters feel like they're witnessing something that will be talked about for years. Al Hussein's recent rise has changed the mood around the league. It has given Jordanian football a new dominant force, and it has opened up a bigger conversation about competition, club development, and how the league's balance is changing. And for Al Hussein fans, this is the dream. 3 consecutive titles means consistency. It means the team wasn't just having a lucky run, it means they built something strong enough to survive pressure, expectations, and the weight of being chased by everyone else. That's why the reaction was so big. It wasn't just about one night at Al Hassan Stadium, it was about the feeling that Irbid is living through a historic football moment. And speaking of national icons, another photo that caught people's attention this week brought together HRH, Crown Prince Al Hussein, and Omar Al Abdallat. Now, Omar Al Abdallat is not just any singer. For many Jordanians, he is one of the voices most strongly connected to national songs, celebration moments, patriotic music, and the kind of tracks that instantly make people think of Jordan. So when a photo appears of HRH Crown Prince Al Hussein with Omar Al Abdallat, people naturally react to it. It has that very Jordanian crossover energy. a royal moment, a beloved national voice, and the kind of photo that feels simple but instantly recognizable. The reason people liked it is also because it didn't need too much explanation. Some photos just carry the feeling on their own. Omar Al Abdallat has been part of Jordan's public soundtrack for decades, especially during national celebrations, so seeing him in the same frame as the Crown Prince feels like one of those wholesome cultural moments that people immediately understand. It also comes at a time when national celebration energy is already building, especially with Jordan's 80th Independence Day coming up. So the timing makes the photo feel even more fitting. From music and celebration, we move to a very different story: Al-Siilawy's full apology. Al-Siilawy has posted a long apology on Instagram after days of major controversy around comments he made about religious matters. In his statement, he apologized and said that his previous words did not reflect what was truly in his heart or his faith. He also said he had been going through a very difficult health period, explaining that a neurological condition had affected his awareness and left him struggling with intrusive thoughts and hallucinations. This apology comes after a very intense week online. The controversy had already become one of the biggest local celebrity stories of the moment, especially after his father publicly disowned him, and reports of personal fallout began circulating. What made this story spread so quickly was not just one video or one statement, it was the combination of everything happening at once: the original controversial remarks, the family response, the public reaction, the personal details, and then the apology. In the statement, Al-Siilawy asked for forgiveness and said that the door to repentance remains open. That line became important because it framed the apology not just as damage control, but as a personal and spiritual statement. Now, Jordanian social media is reacting in different ways. Some people are saying the apology should be accepted and that people deserve space to explain themselves. Others are still upset by the original comments and feel the situation went too far. And many are discussing the role of health, family pressure, public shaming, and how quickly celebrity controversies can escalate online. For a public figure, especially someone with a young audience, one statement can become a national discussion in minutes. And when religion, family, and mental health all become part of the conversation, it becomes even more sensitive. This is one of those stories where the tone matters. It's not just entertainment drama. It's a serious public controversy with real personal consequences. And now the question is whether this apology changes the direction of the story or whether the backlash continues. Next, we have a travel influencer story that went in a very unexpected direction. Jordanian travel influencer at Ibn Battuta broke his silence after rumors spread online about a so-called hantavirus cruise. The phrase itself sounds like something made for viral panic, and that's exactly why it caught attention. Cruise stories already tend to go viral quickly because they combine travel, health concerns, and confined spaces. Add a dramatic name like hantavirus cruise, and suddenly everyone wants to know what happened, whether it's true, and who was involved. In his response, at Ibn Battuta addressed the speculation directly. The main point was that he pushed back on the viral claims and tried to clarify what really happened. This kind of story shows how fast travel rumors can move online. One clip, one claim, or one phrase can turn into a whole narrative before the people involved have even had a chance to respond. And for influencers, especially travel creators, that can be complicated. Their work is built around documenting experiences in real time, but that also means they can easily become part of a viral story they didn't fully create. The hantavirus cruise rumor spread because it had all the ingredients of online panic: a ship, a health-related claim, international travelers, and social media speculation. But the response from Ibn Battuta was about trying to slow that down and explain the situation from his side. It's a reminder that not every viral phrase tells the full story, and sometimes the person at the center of it has to step in just to correct the conversation. Now let's go from viral rumors to something much older and much more rooted in Jordanian heritage. The traditional dress of assault, known as the kalaga, has been getting attention for one very impressive reason. It measures 315 centimeters from shoulder to hem, making it known as the longest traditional costume in the world. This is one of those heritage facts that sounds almost too dramatic to be real, but it is part of the documented history of the dress. The kalaga is not just long for the sake of being long. The way it is worn is part of what makes it special. The length is folded and tied at the waist, transforming all that fabric into a striking traditional look. And that's why it works so well visually. When people hear 315 centimeters, they understand the number. But when they actually see the dress, the scale is what makes it powerful. The Kalaga is connected to As-Salt, a city with a deep cultural and architectural identity. Salt has always had its own character, from its historic buildings to its social heritage, and the Kalaga fits into that wider story. What makes this kind of content important is that it reminds people that Jordanian heritage is not only about landmarks, or food, or music. It is also in clothing, textiles, craftsmanship, and the everyday objects that carried meaning across generations. The Kalaga is also a reminder that traditional dress can be incredibly sophisticated. There is engineering in how it is worn. There is symbolism in how it looks. There is identity in the way it is preserved. And when a piece of clothing from As-Salt is described as the longest traditional dress in the world, that becomes something worth celebrating. It is a fun fact, yes, but it is also a doorway into a much bigger cultural story. From traditional heritage, we move to language. Specifically, one of the most Jordanian phrases ever. An Egyptian content creator discovered the phrase Balay al-Baher, which basically means laying bricks to cover the sea, and he loved it so much that he wanted to thank whoever came up with it. Now the meaning is what makes it perfect. The phrase is used when someone is doing something useless, endless, or just not going anywhere. It's the kind of thing you say when a person is putting in effort, but the effort is clearly leading nowhere, and the image is so dramatic. Imagine someone trying to cover the sea with bricks, one brick at a time. The water keeps moving, the sea is endless, the work will never be done. That's the whole point. It's funny because it is exaggerated, but it's also painfully accurate. Everyone has had a Balay al-Baher moment, a task at work that never ends, a conversation that goes nowhere, a plan that keeps getting more complicated, a problem that somehow resets every time you think you solved it. That's probably why the Egyptian creator loved it. Some phrases are so specific to one dialect, but the feeling behind them is universal. You don't have to be Jordanian to understand the exhaustion of laying bricks to cover the sea. Jordanian phrases often have this kind of energy. They are visual, dramatic, slightly sarcastic, and very direct. They don't just describe the situation, they give you a whole scene. And this phrase is especially good because it turns useless effort into an image you can't forget. You hear it once, and suddenly every pointless task in your life has a name. That's why it made such good reel content. It's funny, it's cultural, it's relatable, and it gives people outside Jordan a small window into how expressive the dialect can be. And honestly, the creator had a point. Whoever came up with that phrase deserves credit. So today's stories really gave us the full Lovin Amman mix. We had AI artists imagining what Jordan's 80th Independence Day could look like, with a giant glowing 80 over Abdun Bridge. We had Hussein SC making football history with a third consecutive league title and a huge moment for Irbid. We had HRH Crown Prince Al Hussein in a wholesome photo with Omar Al Abdallat, one of Jordan's most recognizable national voices. We had Al-Siilawy posting a full apology after a major controversy. We had at Ibn Battuta responding to viral cruise rumors. We had the Kalaga of As-Salt reminding everyone that Jordanian heritage is full of incredible details. And we had an Egyptian creator discovering Balay al-Baher, possibly one of the most accurate phrases ever created. That's the thing about Amman and Jordan more broadly. The stories can move from national celebrations to football, from celebrity controversy to traditional dress, from AI visuals to old sayings, all in one day. And somehow it all still feels connected. Because whether it's a giant 80 over Abdun Bridge, fans celebrating an Irbid, a historic dress from As-Salt, or a phrase about laying bricks into the sea, these stories all say something about identity. They show how Jordanians celebrate, joke, react, preserve, and imagine. And that's where we'll leave it for today. This has been the Lovin Amman Show. I'm Tariq Shami. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back with more stories from Amman and across Jordan very soon.
Thank you for tuning in into the Lovin Amman podcast as part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. Please hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts from.